Hello students, today we're going to be doing History Lesson 155, pages 428, 433, 433, 428. We're also going to do our math skill page 28. Well, it's not page number 28, but the skill is 28. On the top of your paper, you will see 28. So let's begin. In your textbook, you have a page where it tells you all of the different landforms. Okay, so open your textbook onto page 489. 489, and you have all of your landforms. Volcano, mountain, a hill. The valley is the deep part between two mountains. A river, waterfall. Flat area is called a plain. A break in between the ground is called a gorge. A piece of land surrounded by water is an island. A peninsula is a piece of land surrounded by water on three sides and is connected to land on one. You have a lake, and a lake is an area of water that is surrounded by land. Marsh, low waters. Our Everglades is a marsh. Desert, very limited rain. An oasis, it's where you can find water in the desert. So those are your landforms. On to your page. It's your page, and we're going to identify the different parts. The first one, it says label. You're going to label each landform. So letter A, it says, let's read the key. We always read the key first. Make that a little bigger. Let's see how it looks over here. Okay, so you have letter A, desert. Letter B, island. Letter C, lake. Letter D, oasis. Letter E, peninsula. Letter F, volcano, and G, waterfall. So let's start up here. That would be a volcano, letter F. Right here, what is that? That would be a waterfall, letter G. Then I have here, land surrounded by water, that will be an island, and that will be letter B. Here I have land surrounded in three sides by water, but it's connected by land, and that is a peninsula, letter E. This is a body of water surrounded by land, and that is a lake. Landform, very little rainfall, that would be a desert. And the last one, water found in the desert, that would be an oasis, and that will be letter D. Everything is marked. Let's move on to our next section, and here you're going to match your geographic terms and definitions. Okay, so let's read the key. And we have a lowland between hills or mountains, raised area of the earth's surface that is larger than a hill. A mountain with openings in the earth's crust through which lava escapes. A raised area of land that is smaller than a mountain. A large stream of fresh water flowing over land. a flat or level area of land. Hill. Here it says larger than a hill. It has hill in the definition, so that's not it. A mountain with openings, that's not it. A raised area of land that is smaller than a mountain. That would be my choice. The next one, a mountain. We already read raised area of earth surface that is larger than a hill. That would be a mountain. A plain. Flat, a flat or level area of land. A river. Oops. Plain. River will be a large stream of fresh water flowing over land. Valley. A valley is a low land between two hills or mountains. Usually people use the term that you are in the valley when you're going through trials or tribulations, or God just has you on a hold so you could learn something. So usually in the valley is where we grow the most. It's the most painful area to be, but it's where we grow spiritually and spiritually stronger. Volcano is our last one, and that will be a mountain with openings in the earth's crust through which lava escapes. And now to conclude, I am going to go over the biography of Neil Armstrong. So, Neil Armstrong, he was fascinated with flying since he was a child. When World War II started, he was too young to go into war, but he was still fascinated with it, and he learned the names of all of the airplanes that flew during World War II. And this is very important because of the war. During World War II, there were lots of developments in aviation. So there were many different types of planes used during World War II. The same as I forgot his name. Glenn is the same as John Glenn. He had many jobs, different types of jobs, delivering paper, selling things, washing things, cutting grass, anything in order to gain money, in order to pay for his flying lessons, because they were very expensive. He obtained his pilot license at the age of 15, and at the age of 20, he received his naval aviator license because he was called to duty. So he became a naval pilot. He was a fighter pilot during the Korean War, and his mission was to bomb bridges and roads in order to prevent the Northern Korean army to advance. So that's what he did. He would blow up bridges, blow up streets, anything that would prevent the army of moving forward. He was during the Korean War, he was shut down. He had to eject from his airplane, but was rescued by because during the World War II there were many countries, so he was recovered or rescued by allies. After that, he married Janet Sheeran in 1956. Then he became a test pilot. Sounds familiar? Yes, also John Glenn did this. And while he was a test pilot, that's where he joins NASA. As a test pilot, he tests over 200 different types of vehicles. He tests jets, rockets, and planes. While he's in NASA, he goes through the training, and in 1966, in Gemini 8, he goes into space, where he is, and this space trip, this space journey or travel, this trip was very important because that's where they tested if they were able to connect two rockets one to each other. Like there's a landing post, and the rocket is coming from from the Earth, and when it gets to the post up in space, it could connect. So they were able to do this, and that initiated the possibility of landing on the moon, and that was our next mission. So on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 with Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins reached or shot up into the air, and they reached the moon. On July 20th, 1969, they landed on the moon. And I remember, look, I get chills. I remember this clearly. I was almost 5, and I remember the buzz in my aunt's house. Everybody running and getting the TV ready so we could watch the astronauts walking on the moon. So I remember this clearly, like it was yesterday. Very exciting time in America. The portion of the rocket that landed on the moon was called the Eagle. So when the Eagle touched or moon landed, they said over the microphone, because they're always in contact with Houston, Houston, the Eagle has landed. And that is a quote that is used much. It was used a lot during the people that went through that experience. When Neil Armstrong opened the hatch and was ready to climb out of the Eagle, he said these words: one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, because this is the initial of the new space era. And from there, he received a Medal of Freedom for all of his services to our great country. With this, I conclude the narrative of the biography of Neil Armstrong. Please study and take notes. See you next time.